Welcome to my video on adding and subtracting polynomials, and it's by me, Mikul. So terms you must understand before you can add and subtract polynomials. 5x squared plus 7x squared plus 8. That's going to be our example. So term, when addition or subtraction signs separate an algebraic expression into parts. Each part is a term. So 5x squared is a term, 7x squared is a term, 8 is a term. So like terms, they contain the same variable and their exponent. So 5x squared and 7x squared are like terms. You can combine them. So coefficients, the numerical part of a term that contains a variable. 5 and 7 are coefficients of x squared. So you must know what exponents, distributive property, and standard form is. So monomial, an expression that is a number, a variable, or a product of numbers and variables. So when I'm going to use quantity when I say for parentheses, but in polynomials, when you're adding them, I'm just going to say plus. Like some cases, you can just say plus or minus and then the other polynomial. So binomials they're algebraic expressions that have two terms, monomials. Trinomials, they're algebraic expressions that contain three terms, or monomials. For example, 5x squared plus 5x minus 25 is a trinomial. So 5x squared is the first term, 5x is the second term, and negative 25 is going to be the third term. So polynomials, they are algebraic expressions that contain more than one monomial. Poly means more than one. So like binomials and trinomials are polynomials. So let's take an example of that. So 5x squared plus 5x plus 13y plus 8 is a polynomial. 5x squared is the first term, 5x is the second term, 13y is the third term, and 8 is the fourth term. So adding polynomials. So the quantity of negative 2x squared plus x plus 1 plus the quantity of negative x squared minus 3x. So step 1, you have to write it in standard form. So in this case, it's already in standard form, so you don't have to worry about it. Step 2, you have to arrange it in columns of like terms and then add. So it's like adding decimal numbers. The like terms have to line up, and you write it vertically. So negative 2x squared minus x plus 1 plus negative x squared minus 3x. So negative 2x squared minus x squared is negative 3x squared. Negative x minus 3x is equal to negative 4x squared. And then you just drop the 1 because there's nothing to do with this. So it becomes plus 1. So it becomes negative 3x squared minus 4x plus 1. So now we're going to take another example for adding polynomials to make sure you understand it. It's going to be quantity of 3y cubed plus 4y squared plus 13 plus the quantity of 13y plus 4y squared plus 4y cubed plus 13. So step 1, we have to write it in standard form. In this case, it isn't in standard form, so we have to rewrite it. So then it becomes y cubed, y squared, y is the constant. Same thing for the other polynomial. So step 2, we have to arrange it in columns of like terms and then add. So we write it out. So we're going to write it out, and then we plus, and then you write the second polynomial, and then now we just got to combine them. So 3y cubed plus 4y cubed is 7y cubed, and then 4y squared plus 4y squared is 8y squared. 4y and 3y becomes 7y. 13 plus 13 becomes 26. So now we can finally begin subtracting polynomials. Just like adding polynomials, we'll take the same example. Similar. So the quantity of negative 2x squared minus x plus 1 minus the quantity of negative x squared, or x squared minus 3x. So again, we have to write it in standard form. Again, this is already in standard form. So there's an additional step. You have to distribute the negative And if there are any numbers along with the negative, you have to distribute that too. So now we distribute negative to the x squared, distribute the negative to the negative 3x. So it becomes negative x squared plus 3x. So now you have to arrange it in columns of like terms and then add. So you have to write like term columns so the like terms line up. So then we write it out. So this time it's plus because we already dealt with the negative. So then it becomes negative x. So then we write when we distribute the negative. So we combine them. So negative 2x squared minus x squared becomes 3x squared. Negative x plus 3x becomes 2x, and the 1 drops. So let's take another example for subtracting polynomials. So here is the first polynomial, and this time when we're subtracting it, we have 2 with the negative. So again, we have to write it in standard form, and this time it isn't. So it becomes y, again, it's y cubed, y squared, y, and then the constant. So then we have step 2, which is distribute. So we have to distribute the negative 2 among the second polynomial. And then we have to arrange it in columns of like terms, and then we have to add. So then we write out the first polynomial, and then we have to write a second polynomial with the negative 2 distributed. So then we combine them, and it becomes 5y cubed minus 4y squared minus 2y minus 13. So you can try these problems. So here's the first one. So pause it right here. Now here's the answer. So now here's the second one. So get ready and pause it right now. So here's this answer to the second practice problem. And as always, thanks for watching, and hopefully you learned something.